Okay, so to start off, we're going to be going over wellness and self-care and like what that looks like while you're in college. So just to start off, I'm Priscilla, as we mentioned, and this is Nicole. And we're both student success interns, and we work with under EOP, and we work with the Pathways to College program, Crossing the Finish Line program, as well as many other programs. And yeah, there. Okay, so just to begin, we're just gonna do a quick little warm up activity to get everyone just like acquainted a little bit. So if you can just in the Zoom chat, just give a one word description of how you're doing today, this morning, and like just how you're feeling. So tired, okay, sleepy, a lot of sleepies, energized, good. Okay, thank you for everyone giving their little input. So hopefully we can get started, and hopefully we have your attention a little bit. So just a quick overview of what we're going to be going over. We're going to be talking about what self-care is, dimensions of wellness, academic hurdles, personal hurdles, um, advice for how to address your mind, body, and soul, financial concerns. We'll be doing another activity. And just a reminder, we just want everyone to have an open mind. And this isn't meant to be stressful, so just take what you need from this presentation. Um, and yeah, we'll also be shared. Well, it's recorded, so if you do need to go back to it, feel free to refer to what we talked about. So, what is self care? This can look different for everyone, but the definition that we have is that it is the practice of taking an active role in protecting one's own well being and happiness, and in particular during periods of stress. So essentially, it's just taking that time to make sure you're emotionally available and have that mental capacity to complete any of your tasks that you have at hand um, in college.
We're going to start with dimensions in wellness. Following with that, why am I not having access? It's like we will talk about emotional and environmental wellness. And so basically for emotional wellness, it relates to understanding your feelings and coping effectively with stress. It is important to pay attention to self-care, relaxation, stress reduction, and the development of inner resources so you can learn and grow from experiences. And then we go with environmental, which is wellness that encourages you to respect the delicate balances between the environment for yourself, respect for the living things in our environment is just as necessary as respecting for the physical environment itself. And then we have like examples of conserving energy, recycling, and spending time in nature.
So, along with that, there's financial as well as intellectual wellness. So, financial wellness, this involves the process of learning how to successfully manage financial expenses. And money obviously plays a critical role in our lives, and not having enough of it can impact your health as well as academic performance. And this financial stress can really affect you as a student, especially with having loans to pay, your tuition, food, books, etc. So we'll be mentioning later on as well their financial resources that there are to help alleviate some of this stress. Um, there's also an intellectual wellness, which this involves having an open mind when you encounter new ideas and continuing to expand your knowledge. This encourages active participation in scholastic, cultural, and community activities. And intellectual wellness is obviously important while you're in classes. You're going to be taking in all of this new information. So just make sure that you're available when in class and just actively learning and asking questions when you have like any concerns about whatever your professor is teaching on. So yeah, just being aware of these two illnesses.
And then we have occupational and physical wellness. Occupational wellness is about enjoying your occupation and participating in your contributions. This dimension of wellness encourages person's satisfactions and enrichments in one's lives through work. Is the work that you are fulfilling? Do you love it? Physical wellness relates to maintaining a healthy body and seeking care when you need it. Physical health is attained through exercise, eating well, getting enough sleep, paying attention to the signs of illness, and getting help when needed.
Okay, so social wellness is also important while in college. You're going to be, well, it's kind of different since everything is remote, but there still are resources available for you to be able to meet people. I'm sure many clubs and orgs are still running while virtual. So just be aware of that and like look out for that so that you can join those different organizations. Yeah, social wellness helps you perform social roles effectively and comfortably. It allows you to create a support network, especially during college. You do need that support to help you get through. This allows you not to only develop encouraging relationships with peers, but also intimate relationships with your romantic partners. And along with that, there's also the last dimension of wellness, which is the spiritual wellness. This allows you to develop a set of values that help you seek meaning and purpose, which is important also when navigating college and going through. You want to make sure that you're sure within yourself and your values and your morals.
So now we're going to be talking about the academic hurdles such as classes, study habits, procrastination, and also the personal hurdles, which is self-esteem, nutrition, financial, and budgeting. So, for addressing academic hurdles, this may feel out of control right now. You may be facing a lot of unknowns and disruptions. But here are some strategies to help you feel a little sense of control through online learning. So, the first one would be to stay organized, such as creating a chart or a whiteboard for upcoming assignments, quizzes, virtual office hours, lectures, and discussions. And then the second one would be avoid multitasking. And I know that can be a little hard right now since we have our laptops and then our phone on the side. So the reason for this is that assignments do take longer if you are multitasking, and you'll remember less and more likely to have make mistakes. Instead, focus on one thing at a time and then take breaks between tasks. Which I put here that focus for 25 or 50-minute period and then reward yourself or with a 5 to 10-minute break. And then number three, make the most of the video lectures. So stick to your instruction schedule as much as you can and continue to take notes as you would if you were in person. And four, scheduling, setting a schedule as the situation unfolds. You may have fewer social commitments, group meetings, or work hours. Setting a schedule to yourself can provide a structure and keep you motivated. So we are now heading to activity 1, and we will be putting students in breakout rooms so they can be able to discuss. But in the meantime, I'm going to remove this. So our question will basically be how to create new learning habits. So your routines may have changed. Take a few minutes and think of learning habits you may have to adjust now with remote learning. For example, if you usually study in a coffee shop or library, ask yourself what kind of environments help you study. See if you can either recreate that at home, or maybe it's studying on a chair rather than on your bed or couch. If you always study in groups, try virtual or even phone-based study sessions in your group.
If anyone from their group would like to quickly say one of theirs or one of the other people from your group, one of the habits that they mentioned, you can just.
Hello, Group 7. My name is Josh from Group 7. So, we have Andrea, we got Bono, and myself. For the first question, what kind of environments helped you study? Andrea and I both said at home that we need like a nice, clean spacious area to try to get our minds clear to focus. Bono, he mentioned the beach, so he likes to go there. I think it's a really good place too, so I might start doing that as well. On the second question, habit suggesting in remote learning. The three of us, we said not much has changed just because there's not too much guidance out there on how to deal with the current situation, but we're slowly adjusting to it.
Thank you so much. And then also in the chat, I know Veronica put that one way would be to try to find a quiet place in the house to study in order to concentrate and retain what is being taught. And so these are like obviously what you said, and they're obviously, it's helpful to start thinking about these ways about how to adjust your learning and to just be prepared, because since college is different from high school, so you want to have that idea of how you're going to be adjusting, especially with remote learning. So thank you to everyone who participated in the breakout rooms. Oh, and group 2 talked about having a dedicated study space and to find the right time to give your studies your full attention with family talking around you. That's true. It can be kind of distracting having like all the different voices. So being able to find that quiet space, even if it is just like the park, you have to like, get away from being in your house, sometimes change the setting can be helpful as well. So once again, thank you for everyone participating. Hope that was helpful in some way. And then now on to the next. Okay, so now we addressed the academic hurdles. So here are some of the personal hurdles. So simple self-care practices that you can think about are ones for your mind, body, and soul. So some examples of that. So as we said before, when you're studying, you do want to take some breaks and to break up all the material that you are looking over. And some of the things that you can do during these breaks are a meditation session. So on YouTube, as well as Spotify and all these other places that you can find these little 1 minute awareness of your thoughts, and they allow you to just take a time away from all that you're studying and just have that break. And I find this to be very helpful because it really allows you to relax. And also helping with that is turning off like your phone and just having that audio and just laying and relaxing in that time. Another thing you can do is for your body, you can go for a walk or run. Obviously, when you're studying, it can be really stressful. Like you're just in one space. Maybe you're in your room. It can get a little overwhelming. So you do want to have that time to go out of your room, maybe take a walk around your neighborhood and just empty your mind a little bit. A nap can also be helpful if you're feeling a little bit tired. 10 to 20 minutes can reduce your sleep debt and leave you ready for action. And then for your soul, you want to make sure and check in with yourself that you're motivated and having those little moments to, I guess, hype yourself up. And if this doesn't help, you can always ask for help, maybe a family or friend member to talk to. And maybe they won't give you the best advice, but sometimes just letting it out can be really helpful, as well as journaling as well. So another stressor can be classes, but a way to relieve this stress, there are your major college and as well EOP advisors. It's important that you create a 4-year plan with these advisors and just make this really helps when you're registering for classes, like so you're not stressed about what classes you're going to be taking. These 4-year plans can be really helpful. And I really recommend seeing each of these advisors and seeing which one best fits you, because it's really important that you have that support system coming from your advisors. And
then we have time management. And that's basically using Google Calendar. Personally, I use Google Calendar to put in like when my classes are. So I set a time for my classes, and then I also put in between like what time when I'm going to work, just so that it keeps me organized. And then a checklist is also helpful, just to know that instead of worrying about your whole week, maybe having a checklist for a specific day. So each day you can have you can write down what you need to finish that day or upcoming events. And I can add also like a whiteboard, being able to have a whiteboard and seeing everything there, or just a calendar where you can write down when assignments are due, or if you have any appointments coming up with an advisor, that will help. And then in our campus, we have LSS, which is the Learning Support Services. And that basically provides a specific academic support for all UCSC undergraduate students. And the goal for LSS is to enable all UCSC students to maximize their intellectual potential and demonstrate academic excellence. And they include small group tutoring. And for small group tutoring, it's just a session for specific courses. And these sessions have a maximum capacity of 6 students, I mean. And then for MSI, which is a modified supplemental instructions, it provides course-specific interactive learning sessions that meet up once a week. And MSI sessions average to about 8 students per session. And this is where you interact. And it's kind of where you go with a student, with 8 students, and then one of the tutor, and they're able to help you with, like, for example, for psych courses, they will guide you and go over the concepts that you went over in lecture, just because the MSI tutor does attend the courses, so they can be aware of what you need or any questions that you have. And then we have ACE, which is the Academic Excellence Instructions. And so that is offered for active learning problem solving sessions and peer mentoring for selected courses in biology, math, general chemistry, organic chemistry, and physics. Sessions meet twice a week throughout the quarter, through 1 hour and 30 minutes per meeting. And then A students also attend a 1 hour small group peer mentoring session each week. And then obviously we have office hours. And I personally like office hours because you can be able to talk to your professor one-on-one instead of a big lecture. And in there, you can talk to your professor about any barriers that you're having with the class, or a concept that you didn't get, or you just want to talk and get to know the professor and see maybe you can get some, be able to participate in a research. And then we have sections. And sections basically go with the lecture that you're attending. So if they do provide sections, we recommend attending, just because we do have a teacher assistant that can be able to help you as well.
So obviously we have the financial concerns while you're in college. And just a quick clarification, just in case anyone needs this. There's a difference between loans and grants. Loans are money that you have to pay back, and grants are free money. So this is non-conditional, like it's just money that goes straight to you. And so when it comes to finances, there are some resources that UCSC provides. There's the Emergency Advance Program. This includes short-term loans, Miller Scholarship. There's slug support, which I highly recommend. Each student is allocated $500, a $500 emergency fund. So if you're in some sort of situation, you can seek slug support, and it's based on your case. They will give you some of that money. And then if you're AB 540 or undocumented, there is a student emergency fund that is provided, but once again, you have to reach out to them and meet with one of the counselors or mentors, and they will be able to allocate you that money. And there's obviously scholarships that you can always apply to. Whether you don't have any right now, like, you can always be on the look, especially for next quarter or next year during the summer. Just always be looking for those as well.
And also to add to that, the financial aid office is doing virtual meetings. So if you have any questions, you can set up an appointment with them. And also you can make a call to them as well.
Okay, so our last activity for the presentation is we're just going to be practicing a little bit of gratitude. So once again, in the chat, if you can list 2 positive things that you've learned about yourself during this quarantine. It could be something really quick, but the main goal of this is just to see some sort of bright side of this pandemic. Obviously, it's very stressful, but there are some positives to this. Someone said the only secret is not to give up. So yeah, just not even just during this, just during your days, taking that time to just practice this gratitude and just remind yourself what you're grateful for. For everyone participating, we really appreciated it. Hopefully you got something out of this. And once again, you'll be able to look back at it because we did mention a lot of things. So just taking that time if you need to go back and refer to the things can be very helpful. But yeah, thank you once again, everyone.
Is there any questions?
I have one question regarding mental health.
Okay.
Would you rather I say it in the chat or would you rather I say it through microphone?
You can say it.
Okay. So my question is regards, will there be any workshops? Oh, since we're not going to campus, but when we do go to campus eventually, will there also be workshops on practices that we can do for mental health?
I know the wellness program and under EOP, they offer a lot of resources. And when we were on campus, they did have some self-care workshops. So I'm sure that they will have some sort of remote workshops, I would hope. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would also add that looking into counseling and psychological services, the CAPS office could be a good idea. I'm imagining that they're going to be implementing some more like accessible and virtual programming. One thing to maybe look into is that they do offer groups, like group counseling around specific topics. So that's something to look into as well. They also have a service that's gosh, I don't know, the name is slipping my mind. But a counselor will sometimes host hours in different offices on campus. So, for example, we have a counselor who works in the EOP office once a week, and students can come in, and it's confidential. They don't have to tell them their name. You don't have to tell them anything, and they can kind of talk with a counselor for a brief period of time to kind of see what some next steps could be. Priscilla and Nicole, do you remember what that's called? I don't know why it's slipping my mind.
I was going to say, is it Let's Talk?
Yes, thank you. It's called Let's Talk. So that's a resource that folks can look into.
Adding to that with CAPS, they do provide some workshops, and I personally did a workshop on anxiety just because sometimes my anxiety does increase and I don't know how to manage it. So being able to take that workshop, they gave you like a packet, and in that packet it had like resources and little methods that you can do, and also kind of like listing like what are things that are causing you to have your anxiety attacks. And it kind of gives you like a little reflection to like utilize and see. So those workshops, I'm pretty sure they have them. If you do go to CAPS on the UCSC, they provide some PDF little resources and workshops that you can do at home. So that was beneficial for me.
They're also always sending out emails about like these different workshops, like the Let's Talk. I saw that through an email as well. So just look through your UCSC emails. I'm sure they'll be reaching out to students.
Thank you.
Gabby, you shared a really important toolbox that it's through CAPS. So please make sure to check that out. And then there's one question on the chat that is, are spiritual retreats available to students? Do any of you know anything about this?
Not that I'm aware of.
Spiritual retreats?
Not that I'm aware of either. Sorry, go ahead, Nicole.
I don't know the name of it, but I know that they have one during the spring break. I need to look for it exactly. I don't remember. It's a club where you join during Opers, like a fest, and they have spiritual retreats in the spring during spring break where the group goes out and they do some activities, but I have to see just because I signed up my freshman year, but because of a lot of things that were happening, I wasn't able to. So I'll have to look that up.
Hi, I have a question. How do I access the recording of this meeting later?
Yeah, all the recordings for all meetings through the Pathways to College webinar series will be provided to all students. Most likely, I'll be sending out all the recordings together once the second week of the presentations ends.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course.
I would also like to mention if when because I just checked the chat and someone said wilderness orientation, but then someone said I don't think wilderness orientation is specifically spiritual. To add to it, there if you do attend mass on Sundays, the school does provide groups on Sundays, and they provide mass in one of the lectures. That's for later on if we are able to go back on campus and you guys are wondering about attending mass. There's mass on campus. You don't need to look for a mass off campus or do your research. It's more like there's going to be mass on Sundays on campus.
Hello, I have another question. It's about parents. Like, if I went to put my son in a daycare or something like that, I don't know too many resources or how that would work, because now he's staying home and basically, I don't know if like it would be online for him or how. Like he's 2 years old. I don't know. Thank you.
Can you say a little bit more about your question? Like, are you looking for resources specifically for parents at UCSC?
Yes, and I don't know if because I don't want to take my son to like a daycare to interact with other kids because of course of COVID-19. But yeah, I don't know if he will have like things online, or I don't know, because I know like the university provides, I think, daycare or something like that for kids. Thank you.
Yeah, I think the university does do some services like that. I'm imagining because of COVID-19 that's not going to be able to be offered. I jotted your name down, and I'm not like off the top of my head, I don't know a ton about the resources for student parents, but I'll do some research and I can get back to you in an email with information about it, if that's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you again. Bye.
Thank you.
And thank you so much to our presenters.
Thank you.